Hello, in this video we're going to learn how to use the sum function in Microsoft Excel. We're going to discuss how to input the function to Excel, how to drag or scroll the function to avoid typing, how the sum function understands ranges as its parameters, and some tips and tricks that will allow you to become more efficient in Excel. We're going to do this by using this sample data. This file is called population by age groups and states, and this sheet is called population by age groups. As you can see here, this worksheet assumes this country has 5 states. It goes from state 1 to state 5, and the population data is divided by age groups all the way from infants less than 1 year old to elder people 100 plus. We have a very nice sample of data here, and what we want to do is we want to obtain the totals by age group, the total of each age group of this population, and the totals by each state. To do that, we're going to use the sum function. So let's add a total column here, column G. Total, we type total, and a total row in A24. Okay, let's first work with the age groups. We want to obtain the total population in each age group here on column A. As we discussed before, every time we want to input a function into Excel, we need to use the equal sign. That's how Excel knows that we are working with a formula or a function. The function we're trying to use is the sum function, so we type sum. As you can see here, Excel starts suggesting the functions available that starts with the letters that we type here. We're using the sum function. We double click and the parenthesis open. The parameters used in this function could be constants, could be constant numbers. We could sum constant numbers, or we can use references to cells or ranges, and that way Excel will sum those ranges. Let's look at a simple example. Let's say I want to sum 5 plus 7. So 5 is a constant, and I separate the constants by comma. So I type comma and then 7. Click on enter and I get 12. 5 plus 7 is 12. So yes, it works with constant numbers. Now, in our case, what we want to do is use ranges to sum these data that we have here in the first age group, the age group less than 1 year old. So let's erase these constant numbers. Excel understands reference, and it does that by selecting the reference or typing it down. In our case, we can select, we want to sum all the way from B2 to BF, which is a population in each state in this age group less than 1 year old. As you can see, Excel understands that we want to sum all the way from B2 to F2. We could have done the same by typing it down if we understand how to reference cells in Excel, which is column and row. Column B, row 2, and because we are specifying a consecutive range of cells, we use column. So we are telling Excel all the way from B2 to F2. And now we type F2. As you can see, Excel still understands the range. So you can type it down or you can select it with the mouse, whatever is easier for you. Most of the time, selecting is much easier. But let's say we have tons of rows to the right, and we know the columns that we want to sum, we might end up better typing it down. Okay, so once we have the formula here with the parameters as ranges, we click on enter. As you can see, we get a total of this age group, less than 1 year old. Now we want to scroll down. We want to scroll down so we can get the total of each age group. To do that, we left click on the lower right corner of the cell G2, leave the left click press, and go all the way down to G23. We let it go, and there we have it. We have the total of each age group of this sample population. Just to check, I click here, I select the cell G23, and I look in here that the function is fine. It goes it goes from B23 to F23, so I'm fine. I see that it works. Okay, great. Now we have the total for each age population. Now we want to sum the population for each state. We first go to this cell B24 to type the formula here. Again, we input the equal sign, we type sum. Excel recommends the function. We can double click. We're using the sum function. And again, we're going to use the range as parameters for the function. So now we are summing all the way from B2. We select B2 and we scroll down all the way to B23. Excel understands here. We can see that in blue. We can see that it's selected here also. And we can tap. If you want to move to the right, you can tap in Excel. We see here that's the total for state 1. Now we select the cell B24. We go to the lower right hand corner of the cell. Left click and scroll all the way to state 5. Now we have the total of each state, the total population of each state and the total population of each age group in this country. Now we're missing the total population of the entire country. We can do this in 3 different ways. We can either use the same formula that we have in this column G and scroll down. I can select this cell G23 and scroll down to this cell G24. We get 5,266,967 people. What this function is doing is summing all the way from B24 to F24. So it's summing this row of data. Or I can select this one and sum vertically. I scroll this way, and now I'll be summing the column G. From G2 to G23, I'm summing this total. However, I don't want to use the total of the total population this way, because if you think about it, this function here depends on other functions. Depends on, if I sum this way, it depends on the functions here. So if something is wrong with one of these formulas, this one will be wrong too. I want it to depend on constant values. Which are the constant values? So I want to use the reference. I'm going to delete this here. I want to use the reference of the constant value. So I'm going to select all the way from B2, scroll all the way to F23. As you can see here, Excel's understand that. We tap, and as you can see, it's still the same value, but I'm using constant values. This formula does not depend on any other formula. This is a personal preference, but you'll find out the more you use Excel. If you write your formulas as independent as possible, that will help you to troubleshoot in the long run and make your Excel sheet calculations more efficient and more secure. Alright, thank you very much for watching my video. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel if you like the way I explain things. Also, feel free to ask questions in the comment section below, or ask for topics you want me to create videos for and or suggestions to improve. Thank you so much.